Have you ever been told that you're perhaps a natural born salesperson? Or maybe the opposite, maybe you work in sales but you just fell into the role, like what a lot of salespeople do, and you don't think it comes naturally to you at all. Well, most people get their opinions about what salespeople are and what salespeople aren't from films, the media, and decades old out of date stereotypes. So if you think that all a natural born salesperson needs to be able to do is influence and bully a person into buying, then you've just really got it all wrong. So in this video, I'm going to share what the true traits of a natural born salesperson are based on our research over at salesman.org from over 100,000 salespeople. So stay tuned. Hi, I'm Will Barron, founder of salesman.org, where we help salespeople who sell services crush their quota. Now, the 12 traits of natural born salespeople that we're going to talk about in this video are specific to salespeople who are selling services to businesses. Now, there are a different set of traits for salespeople who are selling to consumers, as there is a different set of traits of natural born salespeople who are working in more customer service roles, who do that kind of selling. So let's get into it. I'm going to split these 12 traits into 3 separate groups, and you'll understand why in a second. So we're going to have sales specific skills, then we're going to have external and internal traits. Now, the reason for this is just to make it more manageable, but you're going to see how each of these 12 traits of natural born salespeople break up quite naturally into these 3 specific categories. So with the sales specific skills, these are skills required very specifically for B2B selling. With the external traits, these are personality traits that would be obvious to other people who are watching the individual in question. And then we have internal traits, and these are personality traits that are more difficult for other people to see, but you will know that you have them. So let's get into these 12 traits of natural born salespeople. I'm going to start with sales specific skills, right? So there's 4 of them. 2, 3, 4. The first one is being comfortable with money. The next is being assertive. Next is goal setting. And then we have a sales process. You must have each one of these 4 traits if you're going to be a natural born salesperson. So let's start by looking into these in a little bit more detail. So with the money side of things, clearly you've got to be able to discuss money with your buyers if you're going to get money off them in a sale. Next, with being assertive, you've got to be able to both give and then take value. It's got to be back and forth if you're going to get deals done. With goal setting, of course, if you don't set goals, how are you going to know where you're going? And having a sales process, incredibly important. Obviously, this separates average salespeople from incredible salespeople, because if you don't have a systematic way of getting to the goal, if you don't have a step-by-step process to get there, well, you're never going to reach it. Next up, we have our external traits. So these are traits that typically other people can see in you. Again, there are 4 of these. And the first one is being extroverted. Next, you've got to have strong, what we call sales hustle. And I'll explain what this is in a second. You've then got to be optimistic. And then finally, you've got to have strong levels of personal accountability. So extroverted, sales hustle, optimistic, and then strong levels of personal accountability. These are all important natural born salesperson traits. So with being extroverted, you don't need to be extroverted all of the time, just in certain situations, because to be able to win in sales, you need to be able to present and influence and communicate. And this, whether you like it or not, takes a certain level of extrovertedness to achieve. Next, we have sales hustle. So sales hustle is pretty simple. It's the ability to push through tough times, boring times, whatever it is, and keep going for the long term. Then we have being optimistic, because of course you need to be an optimist if you're going to win in business, because if you don't think you're going to win, if you're a pessimist, if you've been pessimistic about every conversation, every email, every deal that you try and do, it's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy. You're going to go around in this negative feedback loop of a sale not happening, which makes you then doubt the next sale and the next sale, which leads to more sales not happening until you just quit. And finally, you've got to have high levels of personal accountability, because if you're not accountable for yourself, other people are not going to be accountable to you either. And finally, we have the internal traits. Internal traits of natural born salespeople. And again, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 of these as well. So first up is not being a people pleaser. Then we've got high emotional intelligence. I'm just going to write IQ to represent that. Next, you need to have high levels of self-esteem. And finally, you need to have a success mindset. And I'll explain what that is in a second. So first off, you've got to not be a people pleaser. Not be a people pleaser. Because you need to be able to exchange value, not just live your life sucking up so much from potential customers that someday, maybe they're going to give you something in return. Next, you've got to have high levels of IQ, or otherwise known as emotional intelligence. Because when you're selling to people, they won't buy if they're feeling down emotionally. You need to be able to regulate both the emotions in yourself and the emotions in other people if you're going to get deals done. Next, we need to have high levels of self-esteem, because common symptoms of failure like rejection, well, they tend to just disappear when you get rid of the underlying issues that are really causing the problems here of low self-esteem. And finally, you need to have a success mindset. And this might be the most important trait of a modern B2B seller. So a seller with a success mindset believes that, well, pretty much anything is possible, because they can always learn, they can always improve, and they can always adapt to, if there's an obstacle in their way, they can always find a way around it, through it, or under it to reach the goal that they may have. So if you do have a success mindset, it means that you can learn all of the other 11 traits of natural born salespeople. They can all be developed over time, and they can all become a part of your own personality. So there we have it, the 12 traits of natural born business to business salespeople. And again, this is all data tried and tested from over 100,000 salespeople. So let me ask you this, you're watching this video right now. How many of these natural born salesperson traits do you have? Leave a one-liner with your answer in the comments below. I'm really intrigued to see how many traits that you have, and perhaps a few that you don't. And with that, make sure to give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and why not click one of the videos that are on the screen right now to continue your own sales education.